Today I'll be talking about three major approaches to literary theory: structuralism, narratology, and post-colonialism. For each we'll look at what it is, who its main thinkers are, and how we can use it to analyze literature. What is structuralism? This theory focuses on the idea that meaning doesn't come from individual elements, like words or stories, but from the structures and systems they are part of, like language or cultural myths. Structuralists believe that everything we read is shaped by deeper patterns and oppositions, like male versus female, life versus death, or nature versus culture. Now let's look at the key thinkers. Saussure argued that language is a system of signs where meaning comes from differences, not from words themselves. Levi-Strauss applied that idea to myths, showing how stories from different cultures follow similar binary patterns. And Roland Barthes said that literature is made up of cultural codes, layers of meanings we decode when we read. In practice, structuralist critics don't ask what a story means, they ask how it works. What is narratology? Narratology is a branch of structuralism, but it focuses just on stories and how they're told. It's not about interpreting themes, it's about analyzing the structure, how it tells the story, in what order events are revealed, and from whose perspective. A key concept here is the difference between story, what happens chronologically, and plot, how the story is arranged in the narrative. Three key narratologists are Aristotle, Jennard, and Todorov. Aristotle identified key dramatical elements like reversal and recognition. Jennard introduced ideas like narrative voice, time manipulation, and focalization. That's who sees the events. Todorov described the typical story structure as moving from equilibrium to disruption and back to a new equilibrium. When applying narratology, we ask questions like: who is the narrator? Is there a difference between who tells the story and who sees it? What is postcolonialism? Postcolonialism deals with the effects of colonialism on culture and literature. It focuses on how Western powers have historically represented colonized peoples as exotics, inferiors, or salient. This theory asks: who gets to speak in literature, whose stories are being told, and whose are left out. It critiques Western ideas that present themselves as universal, but actually ignore or erase other perspectives. The main post-colonial thinkers are Edward Said, Spivak, and Baba. Edward Said wrote Orientalism, where he showed how the West invented stereotypes of the East to justify colonialization. Spivak asked whether the Salvador, the oppressed colonial subject, can even truly be heard. And Baba explores ideas like hybridity and mimicry, where colonized people copy the colonizer, but in ways that resist and circumvent them. In literature, post-colonial theory helps us critique how colonized characters are represented or salienced.